Okay, well, I'm going to talk about something entirely different, because I'm going to talk about a piece of research, the research is on councillors' attitudes to residential design. As we all know, we're building too few homes, and those that we are building are generally of too low quality, and what they act to do is to get communities very exercised about development, and very often anti-development, which isn't a good thing given how many new homes we need. Now, local councillors, of course, have a really important role in the decision-making process of enabling new development to come forward, and in the design of that development. They act as the guardians of the planning system, and they're very much at the front line in these sort of decisions, but also woefully prepared in terms of their knowledge and understanding of design. A piece of research we did a couple of years ago with the Urban Design Group showed that 50% of councillors received absolutely no training on design, and those who received any, it was absolutely minimal. So, we conducted a survey. We sent a survey out to over 16,000 councillors across England. We got 1,200 responses, and then we did a follow-up, more detailed survey to a smaller number, and a few headlines, what we found. The first is that councillors feel that they have a very important role. They feel that they act as a sort of bulwark against developers and national government, who they collectively feel are trying to impose housing on them of a design that they feel is alien, essentially, to the quality of the places where they inhabit. And that they're frustrated, they tell us, by the compromises that they're forced to make in terms of getting the housing delivered, and the design of the housing in particular. They tell us that they collectively feel that design is extremely important. Almost no councillors that responded to us out of the 1,200 felt that design was unimportant. Pretty much all of them felt it was a very important set of factors, and that was common across political parties and across the regions of England, that design is seen as really important, not least because it helps to build local community and political support for new housing development, which, as we know, is very much needed. Helps to make housing more acceptable to local communities. They feel, collectively, that there has been, over the last 5-10 years, some improvement nationally in the quality of housing. But that's patchy, it's not the same everywhere, and they argue it's coming from a very low base. And the places around England that are most concerned about the quality of design are those where the development pressure is highest, where generally they feel that actually, if anything, we're going back in terms of the quality of design. They argue that the quality of design, that we have poor quality of design in those places where we have it, for essentially 4 key reasons, all of which we're very familiar with: the standard practices of some of the volume house builders, inflexibility of local highways authorities, the loss of design skills in local authorities, and the perceived change in national policy in terms of consumption in favour of development, regardless of design. Now, that NPPF has changed since we sent out the original survey. Perhaps that item has changed since, I don't know. But some councillors are clearly very upset and very concerned about the quality of design which is being delivered across the country. 2 major concerns they identify. One is overdevelopment, the second is local character. And what do they mean in particular by local character, which was an issue which came back almost from 100% of the councillors that responded? Well, interestingly, they have a very broad notion of what they mean by local character, from quite detailed concerns like the quality of materials and greenness, to major concerns like density, right down to the mix of uses. So it's not just about trying to replicate the local vernacular. Actually, they have quite a broad set of issues that they're concerned about. A minority view, I would have to say, was concerned about replicating what they thought was sort of a pastiche of the local vernacular. But for most, they are concerned about this broad issue of local character and that new development should fit in. Local authorities, the councillors generally are very supportive of their planning teams and the work that they're doing. They feel that they have an important role to play in improving the quality of design. But they're concerned about the absence of design skills in particular, and that these are being wiped out from many local authorities. And councillors argue that quite simply their local authorities should be rejecting more development projects on design grounds, but they worry collectively also that that will be knocked back at appeal, which is why they don't do this. They argue that key to getting improvements in terms of design quality are some of the tools which are at their disposal, but which many local authorities don't regularly use. The key ones being better design policy in local plans and neighbourhood plans, local design guidance, including design codes with clear design aspirations, and specialist advice in-house and from design review panels. So this is the way they see of improving the quality of design over the long term. So that's what the research was telling us. In a way, those are subjective opinions, but of many, many councillors around the country. What we're going to go on to do next in the Place Alliance is to conduct the first audit of housing quality since the CABE audits that many of you will remember 10, 12 years ago was the last one of these. We're going to conduct a new national audit of design quality with a revised methodology, but based on the same methodology broadly that CABE used. We're in the process of selecting the schemes and developing the methodology at the moment. We're putting together an advisory group, and we need to recruit assessors. So if any of you can spare any time for us, free, because we can't pay you, to come and do some of this important work, housing audits, a minimum of 2 days, then please do let me know. Either email me or come and see me afterwards. We desperately need assessors to work with us to conduct this important new piece of research. Thank you very much. And if you're interested in the research that I talked about, then if you go to this website, you can download it for free. Thank you.